What's up, gun nuts? It's Ferrari Steve, and today I'm going to show you the Williams fire sights for the Ruger 2245 Lite. But before we get going, let's do a quick safety check. Eject the magazine, lock the slide open, visually and manually inspect, and the gun is safe. So I've actually already put these sights on the pistol and don't want to go through the rigmarole of removing and putting them back on because there is a little bit of pin hammering that takes place, and I don't like hammering on my guns more than I have to. But I do want to walk through kind of the steps involved in putting them in and show you some of the tricks. Also want to point out that if you're looking for new sights for a Ruger 2245 Lite in particular, the Lite has a different rear sight configuration than the standard Mark III or the 2245. So make sure you get one that is specific for 2245 Lite. Otherwise, your sight's going to be off. So these are the Williams fire sights. I bought them from Tandem Cross, even though they're not technically a Tandem Cross brand products. You can get them pretty much anywhere you want. But I like them for a couple reasons. One, you've got 3 little retainers here that hold the front sight in versus the 2 of some of the other brands. And I like that. It's going to be more stable, less likely to get cracked. And I like that they are different colors so that it's kind of like Christmas, right? You've got red and green. Let's see if I can line that up there. Look at the camera. It's going to get fuzzy before it gets better. Well, you can see red up here, green back here, but really high visibility sights, very, very easy to acquire targets, and they pick up a lot of the ambient light and go in there. So all you need to replace your stock sights is a tiny little screwdriver, some thread locker, and a tiny, tiny punch. And I mean tiny. You're going to have to get in this hole here. I didn't have a punch that small at this house. I'm actually at one of our vacation houses right now, and so I don't have my full set of tools. So I took my Leatherman and I clipped off the pointy part of a nail and used a small finish nail for the job there, which actually worked okay. I don't recommend doing that unless you know, you want to take the chance of missing, but I got lucky and it happened to work out. So anyway, for the front sight, all you need to do is a flathead screwdriver, remove the front sight, put some thread locker on, use the existing screw, put the new front sight on there, and put some thread locker on and screw it down. This kind of self-aligns. I mean, there won't be, as you tighten the screw down, there's not a lot of room to wiggle this front sight out of position. And just make sure, you know, just gut check and make sure it's, not gut check, sanity check, I guess is the right word, to make sure it is pointing as straightforward as possible. The rear sight's a little trickier, but what's great is the Williams fire sights use this stock rear assembly, so you don't have to pound these out. It's another reason I like this brand of sight. You don't have to pound this out, so you don't have to remove this tiny little set screw here, which helps hold this rear assembly in place. All you need to do is remove this center portion of the stock one, and the way you do that is put your flathead screwdriver in here, and this is the adjustment screw, but if you unscrew the adjustment screw enough, it will come loose. You'll feel it. There it is. It comes loose. Now be careful, there's a spring underneath here, so when you pull this screw out, put it down, and look in there, you'll see a little spring behind there. See that? That is kind of helping the adjustment. And then here's where you want to pop up that pin. So I recommend putting this up on a block or some you know, a roll of tape of some type. You know, duct tape works really well. If you've got a bench block, great. And then you're going to want to hammer this front pin out, because that front pin is what helps this pivot for the adjustment. And that's the pin you've got to remove. It actually goes in a lot easier. Once you pound it out, I was able to slide it back in by hand, and then I didn't need a hammer to put it back in. I was able to just press this pin with my punch nail that I'd made and slide it back in to get it lined up. And then once you do, make sure your spring is not out of position. Take this screw. I didn't put thread locker on it on an adjustment screw. I want to be able to turn it properly. So put it back into place once you've got the new sight clicked in there, and then just screw down very lightly at first to make sure you're threaded properly, and then you'll hear it start to click. See, now I'm screwing it down to tighten it, but then listen. There. Once it starts clicking, you know you're at the adjustment phase. So I screw it all the way down. Don't over tighten it, right? And boom, it stops. So now you're at the bottom position, and you can adjust, click, 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 click to adjust your elevation. And it really doesn't matter. I mean, go 4 or 5 clicks. You don't know what's going to be accurate until you get out on the range to test. So I backed it out there and then just take a peek. It looks really good. And it's as simple as that. That's how you replace the sights on your Ruger 2245 Lite. Again, remember, keep in mind, you need to make sure that it is specific to the 2245 Lite, or your rear sights are going to be off. And lots of brands out there. I went with the Fire sights. They have good reviews. I like the fact that it's got more of those little rings to hold my front fiber in place. And there you go. I think this makes it a lot easier to pick up your target. I think it's going to make a difference for my daughter shooting. We're setting this up for my daughter to shoot. And I'm going to go out and we're going to film some shooting videos this weekend. And we'll kind of see how it went. This is Ferrari Steve. Thanks for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe if you like what you see. Get out there, practice, practice, practice. If you got new sights, practice. Make sure you can pick up your target with them. If you modify your trigger, your grip, get out there and practice. Don't just mod your guns and call it an upgrade. You don't know if it's an upgrade unless you test it and it works better for you. So make sure that you practice pulling that trigger. So the first time you have to pull that trigger, that should not be the first time you have pulled that trigger. Si vis pacem parabellum, and stay safe out there.